Okay, so we're just going to take a look at emergency tax and how it operates. So now this is a very farcical situation, you would think, but unfortunately it happens a little bit more than it should. So in this scenario, Joe started in his first employment on the 5th of January 2025, but he forgot to ask his mother what his PPS number was. So his employer put him on emergency tax. So he rocked into work with nothing more than a smile on his face on his first day. He's a little forgetful and didn't give his employer his PPS number until week 3. So he kept meaning to ring revenue and register this employment, but with GDPR and things, it was something that his mother couldn't do for him. So he had the following earnings while on emergency tax. So in week 1, he earned €450. Week 2, he earned 540. Week 3, he earned 680. Week 4, he earned 720. In week 5, 850, and week 6, 780 again. So you guessed it, that by the time he saw what his earnings were at the end of week 6, he suddenly had time to ring revenue or log on to revenue.ie and sort out his tax situation. Because with the emergency basis of tax, like we know that the standard rates of tax and the high rate of tax are 20% and 40%. But where an employee comes into work without providing the employer with his PPS number, um, everything is taxed at 40%. So effectively, they've no tax credit and no cut-off point. So everything that they earn is being taxed at the 40% rate. Where they do provide a PPS number, there's a little bit of kind of grace insofar as they get a cut-off point for the first 4 weeks of employment. They don't get a tax credit, but from week 5 onwards, it's nothing. Okay, so it's as if they hadn't provided the PPS number. And it's kind of, to give them the little kick to, sort it out and go on and register the employment. So we're just going to take a look at Joe's situation. So I'm just going to move that to the side and I just keep this here so that we can see it. So if we look at Joe in week 1, so in week 1, oops, week, okay, so apologies. So in week 1, he had earnings of, what are we told, €450. Now, this is the week he came into us with nothing more than a smile on his face. Okay, so he has no tax credit and no cut-off point. So the full 450 will be taxed at 40%. So 450 by 40% is 180. Okay, so gross tax of 180. He has no tax credit, so that's the amount of tax he would pay. Week 2, he comes along and he earns, week 2, he earns 540. Again, he hasn't provided us with a PPS number, so the 540 will be taxed at 40%. Oops. So 540 multiplied by 40% is 216. Comes along in week 3, and in week 3, he gives us his PPS number. So this week he has a cutoff point of 846. So he earns 680 with us. So the 680 will be taxed at 20%. Now he still doesn't have any cutoff points. So he this week will pay tax of 136. So he's delighted with himself. Doesn't see any reason to sort it out, because sure, his tax has come down a little bit, and what will be going wrong? Week 4, he still has the benefit of that cutoff point, so he's still going to pay his tax at 20%, because the cutoff point here is 846 and his wages are less than that, so he's coming in at the 20% bracket. So 720 by 20% is 144. Again, he has no tax credits. In week 5 then, what does he earn in week 5? So week 5, we're back to no tax credits and no cutoff point. So in week 5, he earns 850. No tax credits, no cutoff point, so it's all at 40%. Okay, so 340. In week 6, he earns 780. Again, all at 40%. 312. Okay, so he has paid a lot of tax. In week 3 and 4, he got the benefit of the standard rate cutoff point. He has no tax credits any week, so the gross tax that we calculate is the tax that he paid. But just the one thing to watch out for there, the clock doesn't restart. So, he was 2 weeks working with us where he didn't provide a PPS number. He provided that in week 3. So the rules still kick in here. It's from weeks 1 to 4 where the employee has provided a PPS number, but it's week 1 to 4 of employment. So it's not like he gets 2 weeks here at this and then he gets another 4 weeks this. It's weeks of employment. So just to keep an eye out for that. Okay. In terms of his USC for all of these weeks, the USC is based on 8%, so there's no scale. So the minute a person is on emergency tax, the USC of 8% kicks in. So, somebody could be paying 48% tax in USC and then PRSI would be there as well. But the USC is 8%, regardless of whether they have provided a PPS number or not. A flat rate of 8% applies. Okay.